For problem number 2, this is the one where you have the number of hours spent studying for a science exam and the final exam grade. And just to give you a heads up, if by chance you have other values in your table already, instead of zeroing out everything, you can go ahead and go to that table, stat edit, and hit the up arrow once, hit clear, enter, and then it'll clear that list. So go to the list, top entry in the list, hit the up arrow, hit clear, hit enter, and it'll clear the list. And so you can go ahead and input the other data. So 2510423. So those are all so that I think it was 7 different tests, right? So 7 different tests. That's how many hours this person spent studying for each of those 7 tests. And the grades they got are listed here as well. So we're just going to try to figure out if is this a linear relationship? Can this be, can we use a line to describe this data? And if we just go ahead and let's calculate, let's erase the Y1 that's on there already. But if we just do zoom 9 and look at the scatter plot, when we look at the scatter plot, it looks like, and seems reasonable, the more you study, the higher your grade's going to be. So we want to always consider that. Even though we're just doing linear equations, we want to make sure we understand that it's not always going to be linear. So, but that being said, to calculate a line of best fit, we're going to go ahead and use the calculator for that. So stat is the button I just pushed. Right arrow for calculate. We've done this before. Down to number 4. So linear regression, we're going to calculate a line of best fit. And we're going to store that in Y1. Vars, Y variables, function mode, Y1, enter, enter. And we get this equation, and we're going to go ahead and type that in, or we're going to write that in on the line provided. So where's my blue? There we go. We're going to go ahead and round to the nearest 3 digits after the decimal, 6.089x. And then plus the y-intercept, which is b, plus 63.927. So there's our equation, the grade expected. Predict the exam grade of a student who studied for 6 hours. I always have to remember, what are we being given? We're being given the number of hours of study time, and that's the x. And the grade expected is the y. So y in this equation is the grade that we would expect to get depending on x number of hours studying. And the way we have done that is we've just gone ahead and pushed the vars key, vars, y variables, and we want to actually write that. Let me move the calculator here for a second. We want to write y when x is equal to 6 equals. And so that's exactly what we're doing. Vars, y variables, enter, function mode y1, and then we want to use parentheses. We want y1 on the calculator, y1. On the paper, it's just y. But when we hit enter, we're going to get 100.46. So we're going to get about 100. So we don't need to round our scores, but about 100 means that if you want to get a 100%, you're going to need to study for 6 hours. So if we go above that, if we go like study for 10 hours, then it would probably not be reasonable that you'd get a 100 plus, unless there's extra credit on the test. But keep in mind, the line of best fit is always best to approximate the numbers when they're close to the data that's given. So 6 is a bigger number than we're given here. Study 5 hours, you get almost 100%, you get 92. And if you study for 0 hours, you're going to get like a D- on the test. So, or at least that's what this person did. Anyway, for the next question here, how many hours would you expect that someone spent studying who got an 81 on the test? So 81, if we look at the data given, 81 is probably in between 2 and 3 hours, I would guess. So person spent 2 hours studying, got a 75. First test, 2 hours studying, got a 77. And so it seemed reasonable that 3 hours of studying an 84, but to get an 81, probably in between that. But again, understand what you're looking for. You're given the y now. You're given the actual grade, and I just realized you wouldn't have 7 science exams and their final exam grade. So final, like I would think it's just an exam grade. So if that was kind of bothering you, that's just notice that. There are 7 exams. You're not going to have 7 final exams. Anyway, so when you let y equal 81, you're going to write that down. 81 equals the 6x plus 64. So we're going to round these numbers even because I don't want to have to rewrite them. So 81, and on the calculator, this is how we solve it. We let y2 equal 81, and then if we want to draw the graph faster, we'll go x res 3. I want to make sure we can see everything. Let's see. Okay, so if we go to y equals, again, let the y2 equal 81, and let's see where that 81 is the red line. Let's see how many hours of studying it took this person to get, or how many hours we would expect the person to be studying who got an 81. Second, calculate intersect. We want to find where the 2 graphs intersect. Enter for the first curve, enter for the second curve, and guess enter. And so it looks like this person spent about 2.804 hours, so it's about 2.8 hours of studying. That's the x coordinate right there. So x is 2.8, y is 81, so therefore about 2.8 hours. And that's consistent with what we had thought in between 2 and 3 hours.